What's up, folks? Sean, the Average Angler, and today we are going to talk about some of the hottest baits in America right now. Some of them really hard to get. Some of you guys may or may not have been able to get some of these. Some of them are readily available and maybe just as good. Just depends on how you're fishing them. We're going to go over that today, give you my thoughts, my experience with them so far, and you can decide. And a lot of it's going to have to do with where you're at in the country too. So what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about not just this. I'm going to cover something a little bit later that some of you may really like better. At least that's my thought for me, okay? And that is hover rigs, hover juggles, whatever you want to call it. These are some of the hottest baits for the technique, right? First one is the Crush City, what the hell are these called? Freeloader, that's what it is. Now, I've had the freeloaders for quite a while, honestly. And I have yet to throw them. A lot of that just because of the hype around some of the other stuff. And I've been spending time kind of messing around with the other stuff when I'm on the water. But if I go fish the California Delta, honestly, most of this doesn't play, except the last thing I'm going to talk about. Okay, there's the freeloader. Kind of a flat bait on the sides, right? Got a nice action back there with the tail. Ribbed body. Probably holds up in the water and moves quite a bit of water pretty well, okay? Jacob Wheeler has put this bait on the map. They're, at least in my area, they're not real hard to get, okay? Apparently Rapala, however you want to pronounce it, when they put them out, they produced a good number of them, okay? At least in my local shop, I can go in and get them, and I think I've pretty much seen them at most online retailers and seem to be in stock for the most part. There may be certain colors out, and I'm no genius on what the best color is. I think a lot of times it's white, but it also depends on your body of water and what they're feeding on. And all of these baits, except the final one, the preferred type of hook is the range roller. There's a couple others out there. I think there might be a... Shit. I have the other ones. I just don't know where they are. Which if I said that in front of my wife, she'd probably smack me. And I'll tell you the hard thing about the range rollers, okay? This is a 1/32 ounce, and there's a time and a place for it. What I've come to find out through watching the professional tournaments, watching some of these guys on YouTube, is they are actually throwing a much heavier head. The unfortunate thing is, those heavier heads always seem to be sold out. So I don't know. I'm assuming some of these online shops are giving their touring pros first priority, and they're buying them all. Or when shops get them, they disappear the first day. I don't really know. Even my local tackle shop doesn't have the heavier heads, which you kind of need unless the fish are right near the top of the water column. Anyway, moving on. We're still talking about the hottest baits in America. If I can get this package put back in there. There we go. All right, now one that seems to be very, very popular and is readily available for the most part is the Strike King 02. So the 02, which is this one, is just the 5-inch. I believe it's 5-inch. Huh. Doesn't say on the package. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that's a 5-inch. They go all the way down to 3-inch. They are elastic. Okay. These are very buoyant. So they need to be fished with a weight. Now there are alternate ways to fish these other than just the hover rig. And we're going to get into that here in a minute. Let's get through the baits first, then we'll talk about some alternate ways to fish them. Until then, we're just going to pretend the only way is the hover rig. Okay. The depths, Sakamata shad. This size is the 5-inch. If you've never been able to get your hands on it, I believe it. They're hard to get. I have a local shop that does not sell online. They have plenty of them. The online stores, they're in and they're out in no time. If you want to know what the best colors are, just watch the page and see how quickly they sell out. But what I've seen is it's the lighter bait fish colors first, and then to alternate colors like green pumpkin and those kinds of things. My shop only probably has 4 or 5 colors of this. One is this one here, which I don't read Japanese, so I couldn't tell you what it is. The other one's similar to this one. This color is called the Deal, and the 0. I don't know what they call it in the Sakamata shad. Oh, actually, I do, because I was going to show you. This is a 6-inch Sakamata shad. And the difference in the Sakamata shad compared to a lot of other baits is this rib here. Okay, which the water is going to push, and it's going to kind of help raise the bait. Now, this is used with that range roller style head also, or some of the alternatives, but they're the same type head up front here, okay? Now, this model happens to be one that I think you can find, okay? And that's the heavyweight. Now, we're coming into that time of year right now, and let me tell you, these have been working all summer long. The heavyweight, okay, the 6-inch, the 7-inch, I think they go up to an 8-inch, and all you need is the bait and then a beast hook. And these are heavily salted. They will sink pretty well. They glide really well. They're great to fish around grass, around edges. The bite I seem to be on lately is right on the bank. That's on the delta and the rocks. And just throw it on a beast hook. Screw in beast hook. The bait holds up pretty well on the weighted beast hook. Better, I think, than the roller head. But this bait is pretty ingenious because of these, okay? Now, this got popular because of forward-facing sonar, but let me tell you, around my parts of the country and where I fish, we're not throwing it on FFS, okay? I have forward-facing sonar. I have all the different forward-facing sonar baits. I've got more. Trust me, I've got the juggle minnow. I've got all kinds of these. I've caught one fish. Okay, so I'm no forward-facing sonar genius. What I can tell you is this bait works fished like a fluke. Okay, it moves different than a fluke. It works in areas that you would use a fluke. Now, the Sakamana shads these were $11.69 at my store. Okay, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like 6 of them. So essentially, they're $2 a piece. Oh, what is going on in our world? Anyway, I've got them. I've got more right up there behind me. This is the bait. These are the hottest baits in America. Okay, 5-inch is the most popular. The 4 and 3s work at times, but the 5 is the most popular one. This is the one that nobody's talking about, the heavyweight. 6-inch, 7-inch, and 8-inch. If you've got grass in your lakes, and you know what, even if you don't, as fall starts to come into play and those fish are getting up shallow, chasing bait, that's going to be a really good one to have tied on. And let me tell you, these are not like casting a weightless bait. These things cast really, really well. All right? So, I know they're expensive. You can use a fluke, but these are not a fluke. They look somewhat like them, but they move differently, all right? So I think there's some advantages to this. Let's go out and have some fun. Let's be positive. Let's spread the joy of fishing. That's why we do it, is to have a good time. Let's go out, catch some fish, have a good time, and tell our friends how great it was. That's what fishing was supposed to be about once upon a time. This is Sean, the Average Angler. Thanks for watching the channel. We'll see you on the next one.